Voilà, Foul à l'instant, Ful, monsieur Ful.
Je suis encore
Ful, sous le charme. Il y a une émotion. Tu peux tout faire, mais ne me mens pas. C'est mon artiste. C'est mon artiste.
Moi, je l'aime.
Depuis la première fois, elle n'a Dieu que pour moi. Oh. Et puis, là maintenant, ne me mens pas. Non. J'ai écouté l'autre version, le cover de Zitra. C'est la Chimamelure. Hein. Elle est bonne. Elle est bonne, Zitra. En tout cas, c'est une chanson qui parle.
On a hâte de la revoir.
De la revoir. On la recevra sur ce plateau. Zitra, la poupée verte, la fille qui n'a le temps de personne.
Non, ouais.
Ma copine, tu gagnes tout le monde. Tu gagnes, tu es une lionne indomptable. Et on va tout de suite aller retrouver de l'autre côté un autre invité de ce matin.
Jobert. Tu sais que notre nom l'est
Jobert.
Nous, on peut faire appeler Jobert. C'est le frère de Gilbert Mangue, non? Parce que le nom là finit, ça finit avec un new. Un new. Tu sais que le J et le H, ça se retrouve, tu comprends pas. Bref, anyway, money.
Voilà. On va parler des clés pour la réussite.
Dans les affaires.
Dans les affaires. C'est important pour ceux qui nous regardent. Vous êtes dans les business, vous êtes dans les affaires. C'est le moment, comme on dit souvent au quartier, prenez cahier, marquez,
dictez.
Et à l'aise, si tu vas voir que tous les BAM, là maintenant, ne sont pas en train de suivre. Après, on se plaindre.
Bonjour et bienvenue.
Good morning, and it's good to be here again, and I hope that you are doing great today.
Ça va.
Awesome. It's so good to be here again, televiewers, to talk about business. And as I always say, if you're in business and you are not growing, then there is something wrong somewhere. Every good business person should be getting more customers and making more money, becoming more profitable, and employing more people, and definitely paying more taxes to the government so that the government can do more work for the citizens. So it's a ripple effect. And today we will talk about something very important as far as succeeding in business is concerned. And we'll talk about the 7 business skills that every business owner in Cameroon should master. It is very possible to have capital. It is possible to have the right product. It is possible to have the right target market and still fail in business because you lack the skills to actually make this business to succeed. And that is why today we'll be digging deep to some 7 core skills that I strongly believe that any business person can actually practice and succeed in their business. And what do I mean by business skills? If I say that this business person has business skills, what I'm trying to say is that this business person has the ability to complete business tasks. It's very specific. You have the ability to complete business tasks. If I say that Calvino has journalism skills, what I'm saying is that Calvino has specific ability to carry out his job as a journalist. So you cannot be in business and succeed without business skills. That's why it's very popular to see somebody says, oh, I had the money, I had the capital, I had a good product, but I failed. Why did I fail? Maybe you just lack that business augment to actually succeed in business. And how can you develop some of these skills that I'll be talking about today? There are 3 main ways that you can develop these skills. Number 1, you can develop them in the process as you do your business. It is very risky with this particular model because you can lose a lot of money in developing the right business skills in the process. But of course, experience is good as far as business is concerned. Number 2, you can sign up for a course or for a workshop and learn a particular skill. Maybe you know that you need social media marketing skills and you don't have that skills, and you hear that somebody somewhere is organizing a seminar on social media marketing. You can pay and acquire that skills. And number 3, you can hire a trainer to come train you in your business place or to come train your staff in your business place, and you can acquire that skills in that direction. And that's the work that we must do, where we work with business people to train their staff and to train them to acquire the right business skills that can enable them to succeed. And there are many other skills, but I believe that these 7 skills are the fundamental skills that every business person should master. Number 1 that we're going to talk about is money management skills. You cannot succeed in business if you don't know how to manage money. In order to
Clear.
effectively run a business, you need to be able to manage your business, manage your money. And I always have 3 questions for anybody who is in business to understand if they know how to manage their money. Number 1 is, do you know where your money is coming from? You cannot manage what you don't know where it's coming from. If you want to manage your personal finance, you need to know, but wait, how do I make money? If you know that your money is coming from your salary, it's very good. Where is your money coming from? In business, it's more complicated. If you have more than 2 products, you need to know which product is bringing in more money and which one is not bringing in the right amount of money. Number 2, do you know where your money is going each month? Every good business owner needs to know where their money is going to.
Absolument.
Because if you don't know where you're spending your money, you never know how to manage your expenses so that you hold more cash for yourself. And number 3, do you know how to make money more than how much you can spend? A good business owner should always make more money than how much they spend on a monthly basis. So if your answer to all these questions is no, it means that you have a problem managing your money. Financial management or financial opulence is one of the most critical skills you need to succeed in business. So to have this skill, know where your money is coming from, know where your money is going to, and most importantly, a good business person know how to make more money more than how much they can spend. Number 3, the second skill, not the third one. The second skill is marketing and sales. Marketing and sales. Now, MS is a very powerful skill. As I always say, if you're in business and you cannot do marketing, you cannot do sales, go and get a job. Business is not for you. There are people that say, you know, I have this product, but I don't know how to sell. Or I cannot move under the sun and move from office to office to talk about my product. If you are not willing to do that for your business, go get a job. Because the heart of every successful business is marketing and sales. And most importantly, marketing and sales are not the same thing. A good business person should know the difference between marketing and sales. What does marketing mean? Marketing means that how do people know that you exist? So any action you take, like for example, if you come to STV to talk about your business, you are doing marketing because you want to use STV and let people know that you exist. That is marketing. And sales is what you do when somebody comes to your business. For example, if you come to STV and you market your product, and as you do that, somebody hears about your company. Let's say you own a restaurant and comes to your restaurant. Immediately they walk into your restaurant, the smile that you give them, how you welcome and greet them, that is sales. Sales is anything that you do that will prompt somebody to remove money and pay for your product. That is why you can do marketing for your restaurant business. Somebody hears about your restaurant business and comes to eat. But because of the bad behavior or how the customer service agent poorly welcomes the person, or because you delay with the food for so long, the person can leave that restaurant without paying you money and also getting angry in the process. Your marketing was good, but your sales was bad. So a good business person knows how to do marketing. What is marketing? You are seeking ways to make people know that you exist. For example, you can go on TV, you can go on radio, you can do posts on Facebook, on WhatsApp groups, on Twitter. You can go to Njagi groups, you can go to school areas and share flyers. You can move from office to office and talk about their product. That is marketing. But when somebody picks the phone and calls you and is inquiring about your product, whatever you say when you receive that call is sales. And if you don't receive the phone well, you don't talk well, you don't present your product well, you are not a good salesperson. So the heart of every business is good marketing and good sales. If you want to make money, master the art of marketing and the art of sales. Skill number 3, if you want to succeed in business in Cameroon, risk taking. Business is all about risk. Why is this an important skill for business people? Because business is not just about taking risk for risk-taking sake. It is about assessing the situation and making sure that the risk you are taking is a good risk. Not every business risk is worth taking.
Absolument.
A good businessman has what they call risk assessment skills. You can be able to calculate that risk, and you can design a success mechanism and minimize the high chances of going through unnecessary risk. Because, for example, to launch a new product in the market is risk. Because how do you know that somebody will actually buy that product? So to minimize that risk, you can go through what is called idea validation. You are using the mechanism of idea validation to minimize your risk of falling in the market. So you cannot just launch products in a blow. You cannot just expand to a new area in a blow. You need to do your best to assess what are the risks of launching this product. What are the chances that this product will succeed or this product will fail? So remember, you need to practice to have risk-taking skills, not because you just want to take risk, but because you want to have that ability to calculate the risk and design a process to maximize the success of that risk and also minimizing unnecessary failure. It's important for business. Skill number 4 that you need to succeed in business: communication. Communication. How do you want to succeed in business where you deal with people and you cannot communicate with people? Communication is very crucial as you desire to grow your business. This means that you are effectively communicating with 3 sets of people. The first set is your team. A good business person should master the art of communicating effectively with the team. A good business person should master the art of communicating effectively with the clients. And a good business person should master the art of communicating effectively with the key stakeholders. The key stakeholders here could be suppliers, could be your wholesalers, could be your distributors, could be your investors. Anybody that is directly or indirectly being influenced by your business is very important. And communication in business is in 2 ways. It's about listening and talking. For example, if you're talking to your marketing staff, it's important to give them marketing goals and responsibilities, but it's also important for you to listen to them. If they went to the field yesterday to market your product, you need to debrief them, listen to them. What were the challenges? What were customers asking about the product? What did they want to see the product to do? What did they not like about the product? Did they like the packaging? Did they like the product core benefits and all of that? If you are talking to your customers, it's important. Don't just talk to your customers and tell them, oh, buy this and buy this and buy this. Also listen to their questions. Also listen if they are being satisfied. Also listen if they love the speed and the efficient processes that you use to serve them. As a business owner, you can empower your team by communicating your goals and the ambitions with your team. 2 important things, especially for business owners who already have team members. You should be very good at communicating goals and ambitions. For example, goals could be weekly. A good business owner could communicate weekly goals and monthly goals. For example, this is February. A good business owner should have sat the team members down and said, look at these are our core goals for this month. If we achieve the following sales goals, we achieve the following units that we want to sell, we achieve the following size of the market, is good for our business. And most importantly, you should also communicate your ambitions as a business person. For example, you can say, look, my dream is that by 2025, I would like us to have 7 branches of the business in 7 regions of Cameroon. Let them understand your ambitions. Don't just have them in your head. In your head, nobody will know. But when you communicate, they will get to buy what you're trying to say. And communication is essential to getting new businesses. How do I expect Mirelle to buy my product if I don't come and tell her my product? So if I want to get new customers, I need to come to you and tell you my product. Because if I don't communicate, you will never know. You see, so communication is good for new businesses. I always tell business people that one of the best ways to scale your business or to increase your profit, talk more about your business to new people. The more new people know that you have these products to sell or this is your business, the more high chances you have that they will buy your product. So products and services solve a problem in the market, and a good business owner should be able to communicate the solution that that product has for the problem in the market. That is why the heart of every business is the ability of the staff in that business to communicate the value of that product, the value of that business as per this problem in the marketplace. That will make the business successful. Without the ability of any business person or staff to communicate effectively your value proposition. What is value proposition? The special uniqueness that your product or your business have, or in simple terms, how you solve that problem. Your inability to communicate how you solve a customer's problem can cost you a customer. You won't be able to acquire customers if you don't master the art of communicating effectively how your product solves a problem. I'm spending more time on communication because when you talk to many business people, it's one of the most difficult things to do. Like when you ask them, why should I buy this product? They will tell you so many things, but they will never get the value of why you should buy that particular product. Number 5, the 7 core skill, that the 5th core skill that you need to succeed in business in Cameroon. What I call problem-solving skills and learning from your mistakes. These are like 2 skills in one. A good business person should know how to solve problems naturally. And most importantly, there are some problems that you will solve and you will fail. It is a skill to learn from your mistakes. A good businessman does not give up immediately they fail. For business people and for entrepreneurs, every day is about solving problems. Anytime a customer walks into your business, anytime a client calls you, the only reason they are calling you is because they have a problem and you have the solution. It is your responsibility to communicate how you will solve that problem. Successful business owners are able to think quickly in the midst of problems. A customer presents a problem to you, you are able to think quickly, and secondly, make decisions faster and adapt to changes as per the customer's needs and the market needs. These are 3 things to do in problem solving. Number 1, you are always thinking quickly. A customer complains to you, think quickly. How can I solve this problem? The second thing you need to do, make a decision faster and tell the customer, look, for us to get your problem solved, this is what you need to do, this is what we need to do. And lastly, a good problem solver adapts to the changes in customer behavior and the changes in the market needs. So if you are talking about problem solving, it is very important. And it is very important to go through some of these questions when you are solving problems. One of the questions is, how will you solve the problem of not having enough cash flow? Now, these are examples of potential problems that a daily business person gets to face. Because there are days that you will not have enough cash. Like for example, maybe it's end of month and the landlord is knocking at your door to pay the business premises rent, and you don't have money. That's a problem. But a good business person needs to know how to solve the problem of not having enough cash flow. The second kind of problem is, how will you solve the problem of dissatisfied customers? Yes, you can sell a product to a customer and they are dissatisfied. They go try to use the product at home for 1-2 days and they call you back. Oh, I don't like that product. It did not work well. How will you solve that problem? How will you tap into the new market and expand your client base? That's a problem. Maybe you have noticed that your current client base is very small. That's a problem. Now, how can you expand into new markets and expand your client base? That's a problem. You ask those problems, you think quickly, you make a decision, and you adapt and solve those problems. And when it comes to learning from mistakes, remember I said, one thing that will happen to you in business consistently till you ever retire from business is, as you struggle to solve problems on a daily basis, on a monthly basis, there are some problems you will not have it right. But that does not mean that you should give up on your business or give up on your dreams. Learning from your mistakes is a skill. And asking for help when you make mistakes is a skill. As I always say, asking for help is not a sign of weakness, it's a sign of bravery. Being vulnerable that you made a mistake is not a sign of weakness, it's a sign of courage. Good business people demonstrate bravery and courage when they make mistakes. Successful business owners are motivated to move forward and learn quickly from their own mistakes. For example, you can target a market that, if we open a branch in, for example, in Betua, we're going to have a very good sales. And you open the branch in Betua, and for the next 2-3 months, sales are not coming as we expected. Maybe you made an error in how you are launching that branch. Go back to the process and learn where did you miss this problem, and how can you correct it and make it better. And failure is part of learning in business. Let's be comfortable in failing as far as business is concerned. I am not saying that you should repeatedly fail at the same thing. A good business person fails once, and then they upgrade and make sure they don't fail at that particular thing again. But don't be afraid of failing. Somebody said that if you want to succeed faster, learn to fail faster in business. The faster you fail, the faster you learn, and the fastest way you are able to build a better product for your business. So failure is a part of learning.
S'il vous plaît, est-ce que tout le monde doit absolument échouer en business? Est-ce qu'il y a des gens qui n'ont pas fait un truc et qui est parti une fois comme ça?
In terms of...
Parce que ceux qui ont respecté les clés dont il donne là, ceux qui n'échouent pas parce qu'ils ont respecté les clés dont il a été cité là.
Because like the skill of problem solving and learning from mistakes. Because one thing about business is that you can never see the whole picture, right? For example, you don't get up and you know how the day will end throughout the day. But these skills now help you to open your mind, especially the skill of learning from mistakes.
Voilà.
Because sometimes many people fail in business because when something goes wrong, they just shy away and they are afraid and they don't want to try again. But when you know that in business you will fail, you will get many things wrong. But the good part in business is that if you get it wrong, you can always re-strategize and build a better product or a better strategy and succeed.
But how can the person be shy because he lose money?
Yes.
He lose money, and then after that coming back again is not easy at all.
Absolutely.
Because
now,
you have to look for money
and begin
and
again.
to reinvest the business.
Absolutely. Now, one thing in business is never allow failure to go for nothing. Like for example, if you lose money in business, there's one thing you have gained that nobody has, that is the experience. Because you already know what does not work. And that is why it is always recommended that when you want to start a business, I spoke about it I think the second time I came, when you start a business, determine what you need to make that business to succeed. And if you determine that and you notice that you need 10 million francs to make that business succeed, there's something in business called lean startup. That is, you start small, right? I always say my business policy is start small, learn fast, and grow fast. So if you notice that this is your business model and you need 10 million francs to make this business succeed, one thing you can do is find a piece in this model that you can start for 1 million francs or even 500,000 francs. No sane business person put all their capital into a business when they have not proven that the model works and the product fits the target market. That's why there's something called prototype. Always create a prototype for your business and test in the market. So take part of the 10 million and create a prototype and launch it in a small part of your business model. Test the market. Look at the market acceptability. Look at the market reactions. Look at the complaints. Look at anything. In that moment, you are gathering every important information. You bring it back to the table to your team and you brainstorm, and maybe now you can launch again in a bigger space. And when you are sure and it's perfect, you can launch again and take over the whole business model. That's the process. Because if you carry all your 10 million and put it in business, you will struggle a lot and there will be a lot of complaints as far as your business is concerned. Good. And that's why it's said that through failure, you learn what works and what does not work. Very certain. And number 6 skill that every business owner in Cameroon needs to know is people management and inspiration. If you don't know how to manage people, your business will struggle.
Yeah, enough you work out.
This will struggle. So somebody was giving a scenario sometime with me, and he said that if you want to see the importance of people, take 10 million francs and bring it here and lock it up, and then go and stay for 2 weeks. If you come back and it's 20 million francs, then people are not important in business. So what am I saying? This building does not make STV. What makes STV are the people that deliver the services in the company.
Absolutely.
So every business owner is very keen at how they manage 2 sets of people. The team that works for the business and the people that buy from the business. So people management and inspiration is a very good skill. Sometimes you just need to be so good at sitting down your team and you inspire them, you challenge them to believe in the business, believe in your ambitions, believe in the vision, and most importantly, believe that this business is solving a problem. So I always ask this question to any business person: how well do you work with people? How well can you work with people? You cannot be a business person that you're always twisting your face and angry and having bad attitude. You don't smile around. You're always dead, like one boring kind of person. It's not good for business. Business is a social conscious institution.
Absolument.
And it means that it should be socially driven as a business person. Businesses are made up of people from different ages, various backgrounds, with different ideas of how to work. And this is very important. When you come to, like in Cameroon, whereby we have over 250 ethnic groups, you come to a company like, for example, STV, you see people from different tribes. There's some from Douala, from Yaoundé, from Beto, from the far north, from Bamenda, from Boya, different locations. These are people with different backgrounds, different cultural values, different mentalities. A good business owner or a good business leader know how to manage all of these people. Diversity is an asset to any business. This means that different groups of people within your business or within your client's database needs to be motivated, and they need to understand the various things that makes up your business and how they can contribute to make that business successful. So in people management, you need soft skills. For you to be a manager or a business owner who is a good business people manager and inspirational, you need to have soft skills. What are the soft skills that makes every business owner? Number 1 is trust. You need to be a business owner that can push for trust. Your employees should trust you, and you should trust your employees. Your customers should trust you, and you should be able to trust your customers. Number 2 is good communication. You cannot be a good people manager if you don't know how to have communication with people, how to talk with your customers, how to talk with your colleagues, how to talk with your boss, how to talk with people below you. Communication is an important part of that. Next, ability to give credit.
Des business où le patron ne cause jamais avec les employés,
Yeah.
où le patron n'échange, la vie des employés ne l'intéresse pas. Il a ouvert un truc, vous êtes là,
Very
vous ne
bad
discutez
interpersonal skills.
jamais ensemble.
Yeah, which is not good for business, because when you do that, people get to leave a lot. Like, people can work with you for 2 months, they leave because of your bad character. You see, it's not good. And next, give credit. This is a very good skill in people management. Give credit. For example, if Carvino does something nice on TV, come and give Carvino the credit. Oh, wow. Carvino, that was so good. Well done. Great job. If Mireille does something, give credit to Mireille. Give credit to anybody who does something well. It's good. Appreciation. It's a people management skill. It is more than money. There's a way somebody says, well done, good job.
Donc, crédit, il faut y avoir l'appréciation.
Sorry?
Donc, le crédit ici, c'est l'appréciation.
Yes, give credit.
Oui,
give credit.
Une forme d'appréciation. C'est comme ça peut être aussi autre chose.
Let your staff feel that. Let their staff feel that, they appreciate the hard work, the skill and the commitment they bring to the
Yes,
job.
of
And it's
course.
a people management skill.
It's true.
You see, like if you work in a place for 2-3 years, nobody tells you well done, good job. Sometimes you are like, am I doing the right thing or am I just existing here? Good. And number 3, accountability.
Est-ce que je ne suis pas un pied plat?
Accountability. Now, a good people management skilled business owner is accountable. There's somebody holding you accountable and you're also holding your staff accountable. Like for example, your staff says that tomorrow we're going to sell 1,000 pieces of this product. By tomorrow evening, call the staff and hold them accountable. Did you actually sell this product? What happened? Did you succeed? Did you not succeed? That's accountability. And next, positivity. It's a very good people management skill. You need to do your best to make sure that the business environment is positive, not always tense with quarreling and anger and so on and so forth. Yes, negative energy is not good.
Voilà.
A good business owner who has people management skills push for a positive work environment. Let the customers come in and fill the environment with some good energy. Let their fellow colleagues have some good energy. And lastly, approachability. Approachability. What does that mean? A good business owner should have a personality that somebody can approach. There are some people that you look them just from their face, you can run away. They're like, no, this one, I don't want to go there. It's not good. But a good business owner who is selling, who is in business, have a personality that people can feel free to approach you. Like especially for people who are in the customer desk. Like for example, you are walking into a hotel, into a restaurant. The person on the customer desk should have an approachable personality. Let people look at him or her and be happy. And smiles have proven to be one of the best techniques to use to be approachable. That is why people in the front desk, you can train them on how to smile. Because imagine you walking into a place and somebody just smiles at you. It brings down all the fear, all the confusion, and it makes work easy for you. Business is all about people. Like you go up and come down and you are so proud or whatever you do. Business is about people.
Parce que même si c'est les machines, c'est froid. Il y a toujours les êtres humains derrière les machines.
Absolutely.
Donc, il faut absolument le sourire, la joie, le partage.
Great. Because if you are here and you are not sure that people are watching, you would not like to be here. You see, S2 is all about people. The people creating the shows and the people watching the show. So business is all about people. So being able to relate with people and other points of view is very, very important. And number 7, as we conclude, adaptability and resourcefulness. Every good business person in Cameroon should master the skill of adaptability. Being adaptable is a business skill where you need to keep this skill because business will change. Customers' needs will change. Customers' behaviors will change. Political scene will change. Ministers change. A lot of things get to change around you. And as a good business person, you need to be adaptable to the changes happening around you. When things around you like technology, like customers' behavior, like COVID-19, whatever crisis, politics, and also all these things, when these things are changing, you don't have to be adamant. You don't have to be static. It is your responsibility as a small business owner to change with all of these things changing around you. So business skills like resourcefulness and adaptability are game changers for any business person. Resourceful entrepreneurs always find a way out of anything. That's the meaning of resourcefulness. You find yourself in a problem, you always find your way out of that problem. You have equipped yourself, you have the knowledge, the skills, the heart, the courage, and the commitment to get your way out of anything. They know who to contact if they are having a problem that they can't solve. That's resourcefulness. Imagine you have a problem now, you're standing somewhere in Aqua, you can call somebody, hey man, I am here, I'm stranded, can you help me? That is resourcefulness. They know how to use technology and search engines and find what they're looking for. That is resourcefulness. They know when to ask for help and when to solve a problem on their own. That is resourcefulness. So to conclude, as your business grows, as your company grows, as your buy and sell and business grows, whatever. As all of this grows, it is your responsibility to also grow your skills and meet up with the business. There are other advanced skills that we can talk about, like personal branding, corporate branding, advanced communication, and many other things. But these 7 core skills are critical as you lay the foundation and you begin to grow this business. And lack of understanding and practice of these skills can actually affect the growth of your business. Thank you so much.
Merci pour les 7 clés. Hein. Vraiment, c'était vraiment très bénéfique et lucratif. Mais j'ai un ami qui a créé un jour son entreprise. Il a dû fermer parce qu'il disait que les impôts veulent le tuer. Ma question c'est, est-ce qu'il y a des dispositions pour payer moins d'impôts quand tu crées par exemple une petite structure quelque part où les impôts viennent passer par là alors que tu ne parviens pas vraiment à t'en sortir? Des dispositions pour payer moins d'impôts, est-ce qu'il y a des techniques pour ne pas trop payer les impôts?
Now, as I said a few days back, your kind of business can affect the kind of taxes that you pay.
Okay.
You see? And that's why I said that one of the most important ways to make that up is for you to find the information. This is my business. What kind of taxes do I need to pay? Because if you don't, now research says that the high corruption in the taxes sector in Cameroon is because many business owners don't even know the taxes they are supposed to pay and when they're supposed to pay. So when a tax official comes to you and impose a tax on you, you just go and pay. You don't even know what they are paying for. So my advice for that person is go to the tax office, ask questions. This is my kind of business. What kind of taxes do I need to pay? Or there are many tax consultants now, many great tax consultants in Douala, Yaoundé, there are many of these cities. Go to a tax consultant, pay a consulting fee and ask them, this is my business. What kind of taxes does a business like this pay? And when you know them, when a tax official comes to you and is intimidating you, you know, look, this is my taxes, what I have to pay.
Oui,
It's as simple as that.
Okay.
All right, thank you so much.
Voilà, bon, maintenant, c'était créer un business sur... s'il faut créer, il faut faire une sorte une différenciation entre le business qu'on est en train de faire et maintenant le côté client. Comment gérer les clients. Parce que c'est vrai que tout à l'heure, vous avez dit que ce qui a attiré beaucoup plus mon attention, c'est de l'échec. L'échec, et je vous ai demandé comment on devait faire pour la personne qui a échoué. Parce qu'il va falloir encore rechercher à nouveau l'argent pour réinvestir dans le business. My question is, when you fail the first time, the second time, and the third time, do you think that you have to reinvest again in the same business, or you can change? You can go to another you can go and do another business.
Yeah, you know, there's one thing in business that's very important is, do you have the core skills to make that business happen? For example, many people fail in business because of different reasons. And that is why it is good that if you start a business and you fail, the next thing is talk to somebody who has more experience in that business. They will tell you things that maybe you did not see at the first time, or talk to a business consultant or a coach. Because if you fail in a business 2, 3, 4 times, and other people are succeeding in that business, there is something you are not doing that they are doing. You see, that's why I always advise people, if you want to invest more than 500,000 francs in any business, talk to a business expert. Because they will tell you things and stretch your mind to see things that on your own you will not see. Because business is very difficult and business has a lot of moving parts. From marketing to sales to product design, distribution, customer acquisition, market, it's very elaborate. So if you start a business and fail again, talk to somebody, either somebody in the same business who has more experience than you, or get to a business expert and they will give you the advice that you need, and you have a better, because there's no reason putting money into something that is not working over and over. You're only going to get poorer, because you're putting money into a business so that you're able to make profit and do the business better.
Wow.
Mais comment comprendre qu'en Afrique, rarement, il y a des gens qui font des business longs, qui mettent long. En Europe, par exemple, on a des entreprises comme, je cite comme ça, sans publicité, comme Citroën, comme les Louis Vuitton, comme Peugeot, comme Renault. C'est les noms, c'est les gens qui ont créé leurs entreprises. Ça fait il y a peut-être 2 siècles, 3 siècles. Et ça marche. Ici, chez nous, généralement, quelque chose commence et ça va s'arrêter. C'est difficile d'avoir quelque chose chez nous qui a plus de 50 ans, qui a plus de 60 ans.
Yeah, you see, one thing about there and here is that they already have structures that have been put in place to support a lot of businesses. Here in Cameroon and other African countries, the government is still struggling a lot to put in the right structures in place to enable. For example, just infrastructure alone is needed highly. For example, electricity, good roads, good tax system that is clear, right? It support a lot of businesses, and that's a challenge that we are still working here to try to make those infrastructures happen. And secondly, in the West, business people pay a lot of attention to acquiring expert advice before they are able to embark on a business. I have been doing business consulting in Cameroon and Africa for over 10 years today. Many a times, you get to force a business owner to hire a consultant to come and look.
Poser des questions.
Yes, when they fail, before they start coming back
Donc,
to
en
you.
fait, ici, tout le monde fait tout en même temps. C'est moi qui ai créé ma société. Je n'ai pas besoin de conseils d'un cabinet, par exemple, d'un cabinet. Je connais tout. En fait, ils connaissent tout à la fois.
Ils savent tout. They know everything.
Yes, they claim to know everything, but again, the business is not succeeding. Like as you said, by now we should have businesses that have been 15, 20 years old and employing maybe 5, 10,000 people. Right? When you go to the West, you see a business employing 54,000 people. Few months back, Amazon was employing 1.2 million people. What takes them to that level? They use a lot of expertise and technical support to be able to achieve that. And that's why, as I said earlier, if you're embarking on a business that you need more than 500,000 pounds capital, get another person to give you an advice. Let them tell you what they see as far as this business is concerned and what you are not seeing. You will always miss out something in a business system.
Ouais, j'aimerais un peu avoir ton avis. Hein. Je ne sais pas, si quelqu'un crée son business, selon vous, est-ce que c'est conseillé de mettre les membres de sa famille dans son business ou alors c'est pas conseillé? C'est-à-dire, est-ce que quand tu crées ton business, si tu veux mettre les membres de ta famille, par exemple, au secrétariat, à l'accueil, ce sont les membres de ta famille, tu penses que celui-là, ça sera bénéfique pour lui ou alors est-ce qu'il pourra réussir franchement dans ce business?
Actually, it depends bringing a member of your family into your business. Because if you are bringing in somebody who does not have the skills to help your business grow, it's a problem. If you are bringing in somebody that you cannot discipline, imagine that you have your kid's sister, or let's say your wife, managing a business, and she keep on doing things the wrong way. There are moments that you will not feel like shouting at her or disciplining her right because of some special family ties. You see, but if the family member has the skills to get the job done, and there is a clear working relationship that you look in the office, this is your role, get the job done, this is my role, I get my job done. There are no special family emotions as far as this business is concerned. You need to be clear from the beginning. Because, of course, we have seen how family members have killed businesses. Like, for example, if a father dies and 2 months after, the company is crumbling after the father because people took over that don't have the skills to make that business succeed. Yeah, so when you're bringing a family member, let be clear documentation. I told somebody, give her a contract. He was recruiting the sister. Give the contract.
Non seulement le contrat, est-ce qu'elle est habilitée à être là? C'est pas parce que c'est ma sœur.
Elle peut mettre habilité.
Non.
Je dis dans le cas où ils sont habiles vraiment. Parfois ils sont habiles, mais tu te dis que c'est la famille. Tu ne peux pas donner certaines sanctions malgré son habileté.
Non, tu comprends. Quand tu es habilité, c'est comme les riches bamileke, par exemple, eux ils n'ont pas fréquenté. Ce qu'ils font, c'est qu'ils envoient leurs enfants faire les études par rapport à leur entreprise. Donc, quand l'enfant sort, il sait que d'emblée, je serai le directeur financier, je serai le directeur. On l'a déjà préparé.
C'est pour ça que... Non, pas de ceux qui se cherchent encore.
Mais maintenant, si je me cherche encore, je prends ma soeur qui n'a même pas le niveau probatoire pour venir travailler dans mon entreprise. Tu as quelle qualité quelle expérience, quelle capacité pour venir bosser avec
Yeah,
moi.
it is very important.
C'est important.
If all of those abilities and competencies are there, I always recommend that let the family person go through the same documentation process. If all your staff have a contract, give that person a contract.
Aussi, absolument.
If there are staff policies, a code of ethics, the family person should have, and they should not be excluded from the discipline, because the moment you do that, they can kill your business in your absence. And one thing about the Bamileke system I like is that apprenticeship, whereby you get to learn in the process, learn what the Oga is doing or what the father is doing. You also learn those competencies, and you structure it right, the business always succeed.
Voilà.
Ok.
Thank you so much.
Je pense que, je ne sais pas si on peut avoir
Bien,
2 ou 3 questions des,
Oui, le numéro
des
peut-être.
téléspectateurs. FX, s'il te plaît, on a encore 5 minutes par là, 6 minutes. Je ne sais pas s'il y a un téléspectateur qui voudrait poser une question à notre consultant ce matin, donc, en ce qui concerne le business. Et voilà, donc on va rappeler aussi la raison. La famille tue souvent le business. Hein. Quand tu sais que ce n'est pas toi qui as créé ça, c'est ton frère qui est là. Tu
Oui,
manges.
Non, c'est vrai, c'est vrai.
Ton frère va te faire quoi? Tu dis même aux gens que mon frère va me faire quoi?
Tout à l'heure, par exemple, on se plaint des commerçants qui sont dans les marchés. À chaque fois qu'on les interviewe, ils sont toujours en train de dire que c'est dur, on veut le changement, c'est dur. Et ils font ça. Et quand tu vas fouiller, tu fais des enquêtes de commissaires, tu constates même qu'ils sont en train de construire dans les villages. Mais ils sont toujours en train de dire que c'est dur. Ma question par rapport à ces commerçants qui baillent la main, qui s'asseyent, ils vendent leurs vivres, qui sont toujours en train de dire que c'est dur. Selon vous, pourquoi est-ce qu'ils le disent? Est-ce que c'est parce qu'ils pensent qu'ils sont des sous-hommes? Ou alors parce qu'ils pensent que non, ceux qui sont dans les bureaux sont bien par rapport à eux? Parce qu'on a débattu tout à l'heure, où ils sont toujours en train de dire que c'est dur. Est-ce que c'est l'environnement qui fait que c'est dur ou alors parce qu'ils n'ont pas de connaissances?
Because in terms of the buy and sell, I'm not being able to grow consistently, right? To a level whereby they're able to see that they have a good business and all of that. Because a business, one challenge with the buy and sell and how they're able to grow is one thing that affects them is that long-term vision that they don't have for their business. Like somebody is comfortable with just selling their tomatoes.
Wow.
They don't think beyond that place. Because they already have the skills to sell tomatoes, they already have the people management skills. Like when you go to the market, the way a buyer and seller calls you, cost, come. They are so good at that. You get a point. So they have those basic skills that are very important for business. The problem with buy and sell people is that they don't think beyond that, and they're just comfortable in their environment, and they don't try to scale beyond that place.
Oui, c'est vrai ce que vous dites, mais est-ce qu'on n'a pas l'impression que ces gens-là vivent quand même aussi de jour le jour? C'est-à-dire qu'il vient, il achète peut-être 2 cachets de tomates à Sananga. Bon, il vend, ça finit, il part à la maison, il faut qu'il garde d'abord l'argent qu'il va réacheter l'autre demain et nourrir les enfants. Est-ce que ces gens-là peuvent vraiment évoluer jusqu'à devenir...
Now,
C'est un concours de patience.
N'est-ce pas?
There is something in business called bootstrapping. Bootstrapping means that you take money, you take your profit and you push it to your capital. For example, let's say the buyer and seller makes 10,000 francs profit every day from that business. She can intentionally make a decision that from that 10,000 profit, 5,000 francs will go back into the business and 5,000 francs I will use it. So that she can add the capital of this business. So it means that if she does this 5,000 for 30 days, it means she's going to increase the capital of her business 150,000 francs. And automatically the size of her business is going to grow. One thing with small business owners, the challenge is that it's not that they are not making money. They are making money, but they are not making the right financial decisions in order to grow their business. Like for example, there are many buy and sell business owners that they don't drink less than 2 bottles of beer every day. Right? Let's assume it's 1,000 francs. Times 300 days is 300,000 francs that's gone to just drinking. What if they start saving that money and take that money back into the business. They can always scale the size of the business and increase their target market or their product or their target size. So you see, it's all about commitment and having the right strategy to make sure that it works.
Ok.
Non, mais c'est important. On a interviewé dernièrement. Tu te souviens, je riais. C'était comme un sketch. C'est dur. Vous voyez, mon goût, ce n'est pas mon goût que je bois ici. Hein. Je bois ça parce que j'ai chaud. Je bois ça parce qu'il fait chaud. Mais elle dit que c'est dur. Mais elle a une bière qui coûte 500 francs cette fois. Et elle dit que ce n'est pas son goût. Que son vrai goût coûte 700. D'habitude, elle boit 700. Mais elle dit qu'elle souffre au marché. Parce que les 700, là, multipliés par 30 jours, ça fait quand même beaucoup. Ça fait 28 000. Qu'elle peut garder.
Yeah.
Et elle boit ça chaque jour, pas une. Elle doit boire comme ça 2.
Yeah, every day. Every day. And that's how they lose part of their capital into just drinking. And drinking does not need any special talent. You just need commitment to stop and discipline yourself.
Bien sûr, tu as des objectifs à atteindre. Même boire la bière au marché, tu n'es pas obligé. Tous les commerçants aujourd'hui, tu les vois, ils ont toujours une bière à côté. C'est incroyable.
And for example, have you not gone to buy something from a business and the business owner is drinking beer somewhere? And they lose customers drinking beer, and you leave that shop and go back from another shop because the person was on site and waiting for you to come. You see, so many of these just need commitment and intentionality to make it work. Okay, so.
Voilà, Solange, je crois que ça sera bientôt la fin.
Oui.
On est à la fin.
Oui. Je pense qu'il a répondu à toutes les questions aujourd'hui. Hein,
mais faire le business, c'est pas quelque chose de facile aussi.
Non, c'est pas facile. Il faut avoir beaucoup de...
Mais il faut dire quand même que pour ces commerçants qui boivent leurs deux bières tous les jours, là, moi je les en veux pas trop, hein, parce qu'en même temps, c'est selon le milieu de vie, bon, de tout un chacun. Je sais que je suis pas en train de partir à l'encontre de ce que notre frère dit. Et ces gens-là, ils sont dans leur confort. Et puis, ils sont dans leur fouca, leur débrouillardise, il faut qu'ils portent les choses par-ci, par-là. Et peut-être qu'ils ont leurs petits soucis de temps en temps. C'est pour ça que quelque part, je me dis que c'est très difficile pour certains gens de faire le business et de devenir riches là-dedans. Peut-être parce qu'il y a des gens qui sont là pour seulement pour subsister. Parce qu'il a ses problèmes, il faut qu'il coupe une bière pour que ça lui calme un peu.
N'importe quoi.
Et puis...
Tu as des problèmes et tu bois la bière.
So after drinking the beer, the problem goes away.
C'est que tu n'as pas de problème parce que après ça, tu as dépensé
l'argent.
Non,
pour se déstresser un peu.
Calvin, non, c'est des histoires.
Pour se déstresser un peu.
C'est des histoires.
Mais tu sais une chose, il y a, Jobert, il y a des commerçants, moi j'ai souvent fait des petites tontines avec des commerçants qui te font des prélèvements de 1000 francs par jour. Tontine de 1000 francs par jour, vous êtes peut-être 100. Et 1000 francs par jour, vous êtes 100 personnes, ça vous fait combien 100 000 francs, un bénéficiaire par jour, pendant 100 jours. Et les commerçants sont dedans. Ils font des tontines. Et ça évite cette histoire de bière, acheter les bières. Et beaucoup ont dit, après, à la fin, on dit que ça leur a permis de faire des économies. Ils n'ont pas acheté des bières et tout ça. Et moi, j'ai pris goût à ces petites tontines-là qui moi-même m'ont permis de limiter
parce que
les
nous
dépenses.
dépensons souvent
sans s'en rendre compte.
Moi, je suis entrée dans une tontine de semaine, 25 000 par semaine. Tu te rends compte que tu dépenses ça plus par semaine, autant mieux réunir ça
et tu vas faire un projet avec. C'est des projets, c'est des choses que j'ai compris avec les commerçants. Et aujourd'hui,
il faut réfléchir. Et tant que tu viens au marché, si tu n'as pas d'objectif, tu viens juste...
En fait, c'est ça.
Et justement, Calvin nous a dit, un complexe. Ils pensent que ceux qui sont dans les bureaux sont mieux qu'eux, parce qu'eux, ils sont au marché. Non, ce n'est pas le cas. En tout cas, merci beaucoup, Jobert.
Jobert, quels sont tes pronostics Cameroun-Maroc?
2-0.
2-0.
2 for Cameroon and...
Bravo les Lions, on est derrière vous. Le match, ce sera à 20h du côté de Limbé, mais on sera en direct, nous, à la télé pour regarder le match avec tous les Camerounais. En tout cas, bonne chance aux Lions. On est derrière vous. On sait que vous êtes d'emblée. On vous envoie le Hemley. Le Hemley.
Voilà.
Ah, donc, parce que c'est ça qui
fait...
c'est ça qui fait le lion indomptable, le Hemley. Vous avez à côté de vous les Rigobert, je viens vous encourager, les Roger Mila, les Samuel Eto'o. Vous êtes chanceux.
Ils sont vraiment chanceux. Et j'aurais même voulu aussi qu'on montre un peu les lions, comment les lions supportent aussi les petits lions là. Hein.
En attendant,
qu'on voit un peu les impressions.
On a d'abord les lions. Calvino, tu vas tout trop revenir sur les filles.
J'adore les lions,
je sais
pas.
Mais en attendant, nous, on adore les lions. Portez-vous bien.
Les lions,
moi, je veux bien les draguer, je ne sais pas.
Tu dragues qui?
Les lions, non.
Dégage.
Tous les jours.
Dégage.
Bye bye.